Hey, good afternoon, everyone. How are you guys doing today? Did you guys get some lunch? Some drinks? All situated? All right, thanks for all coming out today. So this is our third coaching session we've done this past year, and Coach Bird has come all the way from Tennessee. So today we're going to be breaking out about the selling system. Before we get into the coaching session, I want to introduce myself. My name is Kunal. I'm part of the Seth Brothers team, part of the Remax family over here. We have a team of 16 team members, operations team, agent team, and we do a lot of business in the Sugar Land area, especially Fort Bend County. And then Coach Bird will introduce himself, but our objective today is to bring clarity to your selling system strategies. By the end of this coaching session, you'll get tidbits and ideas and concepts that you can apply in no matter what business you're in. So I know we have some of us over here who are realtors, some of us over here who are builder salespeople. So what I want to do is quickly go around the room. If you can introduce yourself and tell you what line of business you're in, which industry you're in, and what prompted you to come over here. We'll start with you.
Vicki Hinesley, with Next Line Properties, the Coast Barzilla team.
Got it. So you're a realtor?
Yes.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Jolea. I work at Movement Mortgage, so I'm a part of a lending team, and I'm excited to be here.
Awesome.
Nicole Goulet, I work for Fidelity National Title here in Sugar Land, and I'm here because this guy is so passionate about coaching.
Thank you. And of course, we have John. John is also a sponsor of lunch today. John, we'll talk more about yourself in more detail.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is John Howard. I am a master plumber here in all of Houston. New construction, service and repair. But most of all, I'm a firm believer in Coach Bird and Coach Seth's message. I'm a 25K member. Which I'm sure Coach will get into that a little bit more here in a minute. And I'm excited to be here.
Fantastic. Your John's better half. All right, I have Nina over here. Go ahead.
My name is Nina Patel. I'm the marketing manager at the Seth Brothers team.
Fantastic. How about for the front desk over here? You guys are passionate. Last time we had the coaching session, the first 2 rows were empty. You guys are brave. Thank you for taking the trouble. So go ahead.
I'm Cassie Caulfield, and I'm a consultant for Rodan Sales.
Fantastic.
I'm Christy Flagg, and I'm her leader with Rodan. And I'm Kirsten Carter.
So you guys are all on the same team?
Yeah.
What do you guys actually do?
So we're in the business of helping people get great skin and also get residual income
Oh, wow.
for their future.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us.
I'm Brian Tippin. I'm with Pulte Group. I'm the general sales manager, and what we're trying to get out here today is just to pass it along to our sales team and see what they can do to get better.
Absolutely.
Megan Butler, also a general sales manager for Pulte Group.
Fantastic. And what region do you guys function in?
I'm kind of north of Iken, and she's kind of south right now.
South.
West and
Southwest.
So I'm west, Katy area, and then in all our intel coverage.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us.
Kenneth Tuggle, Remax Time Properties, I'm a realtor here.
Fantastic. Tosa?
Tosa, I work for the Seth Brothers team, and I'm part of the operations team.
My name is Stephanie. I'm with the Seth Brothers team, and I'm also part of the operations.
I'm Joe Linehan, I'm a realtor with Realty Professional.
With Realm Professionals. Fantastic. Thanks for coming. How about the 2 of you?
Hi, my name is Cassie Wilson. I lead our sales team for Forward Science. We are a company that believes in early detection when it comes to oral cancer. So we manufacture an oral cancer screening device, and then we also, so we market primarily to oncology and then also dental professionals. And we also have a pharmaceutical line of products as well.
Wow.
That's great.
Rob Whitman, as you can tell, we've been with Coach Bird from Cassie's belief statement for a few minutes. So we appreciate everybody, the opportunity to be here. We've been with Coach Bird for almost a year.
A year now. Wow. And has that impacted your business?
It has. So we went from, I guess, whenever I started this a year and a half ago, it was just myself, and Rob trusted me to build our sales organization.
Nice.
And we went from just being myself, and now we have a group of 25 sales professionals across the nation.
Wow,
Wow.
Yeah.
it's impressive.
So did you start in Houston and then grew nationwide?
Yeah, we've been in the market for a while. We haven't put efforts into our W2 sales team.
Okay.
So we've been selling in about 52 countries, but we have the luxury of selling something that helps patients, so that's fine. But at the end of the day, you have to be more tactical. I think a lot of the tactical stuff that we've been doing with Coach Bird.
Fantastic. Thanks for sharing. Mike Todman?
It's good.
Hi guys, my name is Mike. I work with the Seth Brothers team at Remax. Our team believes in the difference between a home and a house. And our clients make the best financial decisions when they look to buy it.
right, my business partner, my brother-in-law, my mentor, my coach, Son and Seth.
Hey everyone, Son and Seth Brothers team, one of the Seth Brothers, I guess. Happy you guys are all joining us today.
Linda.
Hi, I'm Linda Zhang. I'm with the Step Brothers team. I'm also a brother.
Neil.
Hi, Neil Patel. I'm on the Step Brothers team. I'm here to support my coach.
Thank you. Doctor?
Yeah. I'm Mom's dad.
So he's my dad. Biological dad, my only dad.
I'm working as a medical and financial advisor.
Medical and financial. So when we spend too much money, when we get stressed out, we get our nerves going up, he takes care of that. Right, how about you?
I'm Carolyn Allison. I'm with Remax Fund Properties, and these are my new office names, the Seth Brothers. And so I just thought I'd come in and check out what they, what their occasional account say. And I also want to commend them for remarkable success in a short build-up period of time. I was very, very impressed with you guys. And I was glad to know that mom, dad, or Mike, your dad, and the whole family.
Thank you. Thank you for your support. That's my wife. Sean, you want to talk about why you're here today, why you love me so much, honey?
Doesn't bring the money.
There she goes. It comes out.
No, dental hygienist, here for moral support, and all that
Thank you, Sean. Thank you for joining us. So yes, we have a mix of industries over here. We have realtors, we have salespeople, we have dental hygienists, we have title company, we have lenders. Essentially what's unique about Coach and my coaching program, it does not apply to any specific industry. The concepts are so fundamental that you can be in any line of business, take those concepts and blow up your business. So I want to introduce Coach Bird. You want to talk a little bit about yourself, Coach?
Yeah. Good morning. So you mentioned something that I think is very critical, which is the tactical part of how we go out and grow a business. You're here because you want to grow your business, yes or no, right? And that can be incredibly confusing, and I define confusion as a problem that appears to have no immediate solution to it. So there's a lot of confusion over the last 11 years. I've been coaching business people on how to grow their businesses at rapid rates, okay? And what I find is there is a lot of confusion. What should I do? How should I manage my time? Who should I call? What should I say? How do I follow up? Right? How do I get referrals? So what I come in and basically do is I help eliminate that confusion. And the way I help eliminate that confusion is I look at common missing structures in a business. And every person in this room has a missing structure. And a missing structure is a void or a gap or a hole that we can't see. And many times it takes the help of another person to say, look, if you just did this, if you just did this, if you just did this, then your business would grow. So 11 years ago, I was a women's basketball coach, a high school women's basketball coach, but I was using business principles with my team. So I was studying the best businesses and I was bringing those business principles over to my team in Tennessee, and that helped us build kind of this powerhouse that has now won 7 of the last 9 state championships in Tennessee. But I was always an entrepreneur at heart. Like I was always had an entrepreneurial spirit. Like I was always thinking, like how do I gain an advantage? How do I get this group of people to a much higher level? And because of that, I started writing books. There's some of the books that I've written over the last 11 years. And because of that, people began to ask me to speak to their teams. So I retired in 2008 from athletic coaching to start a coaching company. And guess who hired me in 2008? Home builders, real estate companies. You know why? Because they weren't selling anything. And so I quickly got involved in coaching some of the biggest home builders in the country, some of the biggest sales teams in the country, some of the biggest real estate teams. And since then, now we have about 600 people in our coaching program called Monster Producer. And they really have one thing in common. They want to grow. They are interested in growth. They are not interested in stagnation. They're not interested in staying the same. They want to get a lift. So they've got the drive. What they may need is they may need the tactical side of this, okay? So I began asking people, because I'm an old basketball coach, we played the percentages. So how many of you believe that there's certain actions you take in a day that could drive up the probability of making a sale? You believe that? There's certain actions you take that drive down the probability of making a sale. So what I began asking people is, how do you get customers? This is one of the first questions I started asking people when I became a business coach. How do you get customers? And you should have heard some of the answers that people gave me. Some people said, man, that is such a good question, Coach. How do we go get customers? I got to drill into your brain. The purpose of any business is one thing, to create a customer. Okay? Now, is it possible for you to go to work, be busy, do something all day long, okay, go home tired, exhausted, and have done not one thing to create a new customer? Is that possible, yes or no? Yes. As a matter of fact, that's what most people do, is they go to work, they service their current clients, they deal with problems, they go home tired and exhausted, but they didn't do anything that day to generate any new money. Okay? And one of my big principles is every day that you go to work, we need to be focused on new money. New money, new money, new money. Okay? Too many people spend time on old money, something we've already sold. Now, do we need to talk about that? Yes. Okay? And for my home builders in the room, when I first started coaching the big home builders, on rainy days, the people in the sales office did nothing. Everybody shut down. I said, no. If I'm here on rainy days, we're going to be calling our current clients and asking them how satisfied they are. We're going to be calling past clients that we put into a house. We're going to be calling people to schedule appointments and meetings. We're not going to shut it down. We're going to be actively trying to generate new business every single day. Okay? Which was new to them, because most of the time they sat in the homes, wait on somebody to drive people into the homes, and then try to sell them the house. Okay? There was no proactive approach to going out and generating business. So, if the purpose of any business is to create a customer, how much time should we spend on creating a new customer every day? Now, I want you to think about this. If the purpose of any business, so when you think about it, Peter Drucker said the top line, the purpose of any business is to create a customer. I want you to think about this, okay? The purpose of any business is to create a customer. We create customers by solving problems. This is the concept that money changes hands when problems are solved. The bigger the problem, the more money people pay to solve it. I actually use Rodan and Fields because I do a lot of TV stuff and a lot of videos, and a person I went to high school with called me one day and she said, you know what, we could really help you look better. And I was like, thank you for that. She said, no, I noticed your skin is oily or whatever the case may be, and she said, I'm going to ship you this and see if you like it. You understand what I'm saying? And guess what? I used the product and I look better. You follow what I'm saying? But that was a problem. But here's the deal. Did I know I had that problem? No. She called me and said, if I could help you solve this problem, would you at least take a look at it? I didn't even think about using Rodan and Fields until she called me and says, why don't you just try the product out, and if you like it, we'll get you on a monthly deal. Does that make sense? So now I use it every single day. But my point was, what was my problem? I was doing lots of TV, okay? I was doing lots of videos. She helped solve a problem, okay? Mortgage people solve a problem for a person that needs to finance a house who cannot pay for that house with cash. So a mortgage is a manufactured product pushed through an assembly line, popped out on the other side to solve a problem for a person that cannot buy the house in cash, which is who? Most people. Now the question becomes, can you solve that problem better than the next mortgage company, that better than the next mortgage company, better than the next mortgage company? And right now I'm coaching a $142 million mortgage producer. So she's like number 19 in the country, and she is a machine. But what she's really good at, solving problems. She is great at figuring out ways to make deals work that other people. Now, where did she learn that? She spent 5 years on the operational side, learning every nuance, every single way to push a mortgage through. So when somebody else can't do it, guess what they say? Call her. So money changes hands when problems are solved. Now, how do I know if you have a successful business? And this is real important, because if you have a successful business, you should be able to go out and solve problems in the market. The market pays you to solve those problems. At the end of every month, you have paid yourself what you think you're worth. You have paid your employees if you got employees. You paid all your expenses. You paid your taxes. And guess what? Then you still have what left over? A big old pile of cash. Now, if you do not have excess cash at the end of every month, meaning you have paid yourself, paid your expenses, paid everything, paid your taxes, then your business is not successful enough yet. Because what we want to do is we want to take that excess cash and do what with it? We're going to start reinvesting that excess cash. In what? In people, in new sales teams, in new offices, in marketing, in real estate, in whatever you want to, right? So I knew I started to build a successful business about 3 or 4 years into my business when I woke up one day and I looked at my bank account, and it's not something I do every day. I typically look at my bank account 3 or 4 times a month. I do not look at it every day. But the first sign I knew that I was starting to build a successful practice is I woke up and I had $100,000 of cash. And then I had $250,000 of cash. And then I had $500,000 of cash. Then I started to go, man, what we're doing is working. Because I'm paying myself, I'm paying my employees, I'm paying my business, and I'm generating excess cash at the end of every month. So then I began to purchase real estate. I began to reinvest in my company. I began to try to accelerate or 10x my business. Everybody see that? I could never do that if I don't learn how to do what we're talking about today, which is sell at a very high level. Everybody understand that? Every problem you have in your business that I see every day comes down to one thing. You don't know how to sell at a high enough level, which means you don't know how to generate enough revenue to pay yourself, pay your bills, and have excess cash. Does that make sense? Right? So when you get yourself into a problem, the only way to get out of this in the business world is to sell your way out of this problem. Everybody understand what I'm saying? And that's what we're really going to show you today, okay? So when it comes to selling system, how many of you have ever used a selling system before, which is a calculated and coordinated way to go out there and generate business? Has anybody ever subscribed to a selling system? I'm not talking about buying leads. I'm talking about relationship selling. How I go out into the marketplace, find problems, solve problems. Has anybody ever subscribed to a selling system before? Okay? Okay? Some people say yes, most people say no. So let me ask it to you this way. How many different strategies do you use to get your phone to ring with a qualified person on the other end? Does that make sense? How many different ways do you use in a given week, in a given day, to get your phone to ring with a qualified person on the other end? Okay? Because I want you to think, I'm not just using one strategy or two strategies or three strategies. I'm layering strategies on top of each other. And how do I know when I have enough strategies? Well, right? When I'm hitting my sales goals and I've got enough incoming leads. I would like to get you so many leads you can't even handle all those leads. I'm talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of leads, maybe even to the point you get to pick who you work with and who you don't. Okay? Now, wouldn't it be nice? It's possible. It's possible. Now, when you think about this, Kunal, I'm going to bring you in here. This is what I want you thinking. This is my whole sales philosophy. Money changes hands when problems are solved. The bigger the problem, the more money people pay to solve it. Everybody understand that? So in my opinion, when you wake up every day and you go into your day, you can fish for bluegill in the local lake, or you can fish for blue marlin in the Gulf of Mexico. Now, one is solving a small problem, and when you solve small problems, what happens? You get small results. You get paid in small ways. When you solve big problems, you get paid at a much higher frequency, a much higher level. So you first have to figure out to sell anything, what is my unique skill set, and who would write me a check for that skill set? Let me ask it another way. What's my skill set and who would write me the largest check? What's the largest check you've ever cashed? What's the largest check you have ever cashed? And where did that check originate? And why haven't you gone back there and got another one? Right? Now, don't you think about this. When I come into the day, one of my biggest problems is, where do I spend my time? What do I spend my time doing today? Okay, I could spend all day dealing with little bitty problems. Or I could say, nope, these are blue marlin problems. These are biggest payout problems. These are the biggest issues I can solve in today's market. Does that make sense? Where I'm going to get compensated at a much higher level. So let me go back to 2008. My business coach was teaching me then. He asked me this question: what's the largest check you've ever cashed? Who's paying you the most money? You know what I said? Big home builders. Big independently owned home builders that are building 700 to 900 homes a year, and it's in the middle of the recession and they can't sell these homes. So they're writing me the biggest check. So here's what he said to me: how do you go get more of them? He said, where do the top 20 home builders meet? Where do they go? How do you get in front of them? How do you share your message? How do you give them your strategy? So with a little bit of research, not much, guess what I found out? The top 20 home builders all meet. The independents. I'm not talking about the big ones. I'm not talking about, you'll be a national builder, Pulte. So I'm not talking about Pulte or a national builders. I'm talking about people that typically sell 500 to 700 to 900 homes as an independent. Privately owned, typically by one person or a family. And guess what I found out? They all meet once a quarter. So guess what I did? I asked my guy, how do I get in front of these guys? He said, oh, I'd love to put you in front of them. So I went and spoke, shared my strategy, said, here's what we're doing, right? Out of that, several of those home builders hired me. And they were all writing me 6-figure checks to come in and solve their problems. You know why? They had some big problems. What was their problems in 08?
Inventory.
Right. Bankruptcy. It's either we either figure this out or our company's going to fold. So you say, man, they would write you a check that big to solve their problem. What's their alternative? Here's what they would say. What's another $100,000 if we're planning on losing $500,000 this year? If it'll solve our problem, we'll write the check. Does that make sense? So I went into those companies. We made those companies profitable. They didn't go bankrupt. They actually showed a profit during the recession. And because of that, I began to get other people's problems to solve. I began to get other big contracts. Does that make sense? So when you're thinking, a lot of people come into the day and they haven't figured this part out. And because they haven't figured this part out, they don't really know what problem they're solving, and they don't know who would compensate them for that. Does that make sense? So Kunal, talk to them a little bit about, we got a lot of real estate agents in the room, and a lot of real estate agents chase business. A lot of people chase business, right? Chase leads, try to convince. They don't understand, look, if I could help you solve this problem, okay, let me just look at it this way. If I coach him and his team, and they pay me a monthly amount, but because of their coaching, they make this much, they don't mind giving me a little piece of it. Does that make sense? Everybody see that? Because I'm helping solve the problem. What am I helping them do? Have a trained team that can go out there and sell more houses. So when you solve a problem, then the people you solve it for have no problem compensating. I don't even know what I pay the Rodan and Fields girl every month, but here's the deal. It comes out of my checking account, and she sends me the stuff every month. All I know is when I take a shower, it's in there, right? And I know it helped me because I saw pictures before and pictures now. So my point to you is real simple. Does that make sense? I don't even care how much it costs because it solves a problem. Now, somebody else can come along and say, well, we can solve that problem cheaper for you, or you can get it over here, or you can go down to the store and get it cheaper, whatever. I don't care. When you solve a problem for another person, if the problem is significant enough, do they care how much it costs to solve it? Okay? Most people don't. Only cheap people do. And you will come across some cheap people. Yes or no? Yeah, but here's the deal. That's not the people you're looking for. In a city or area of 6 million people, if you don't think you can go out and find 300 or 400 problems to solve in a city of 6 million, in a geographic area of 6 million people, they're out there, right? You just have to go out there and explain that. So explain how this concept works for you and your team.
So the skill set concept and problem solving concept, there are two aspects to being successful. But beyond that, even if you're an expert in problem solving, even if you're an expert in your skill set to demonstrate value, the biggest challenge you face is determining what problems the other side of the transaction has. So if you're a builder, you could be title company, no matter who you work with, what is the customer's problem? So before you develop these skills, develop the skills of determining what the problems are, and then isolating them to a point of 1, 2, 3, or 4. And then you say, okay, if I'm able to objectively solve these problems in the most effective way, then why would I not be a value partner in this transaction? As an example, this past weekend, a client came to our office looking to buy a home, and they live in the area, been about for 14, 15 years, and they said, you know what, we live in the home, we don't have our natural light coming in, we're thinking about moving in the area. Our home is about $300,000-$400,000, and we can go up to about $600,000 to $700,000. So in the first few minutes, I let them talk, let them share, and they went on a spiel about 15, 20, talking about all about themselves. Now in Houston market, we essentially have 3 primary industries. You have oil and gas, you have healthcare, and you have IT, okay? So I determined during the discussion that one of them, husband works for the Army, he's an IT background, wife works for an energy company. So in my first interaction with them, I did not focus on the problems, but my first strategy was first to connect with them. And I gave them my background, Deloitte and Touche, I gave them IT experience, oil and gas experience. I said, you know what, I was one of you, but while I'm sitting today behind all these awards over here is because I'm passionate about solving problems. What I heard from you, you have problem 1, 2, 3, 4. And they had about 4 issues or objections they had in the current situation and why they wanted to move. I said, have I effectively identified your key concerns or issues? They looked at each other, yeah, you're right. Those are the key problems. So that was first hurdle crossed. I had already demonstrated my skills so far, okay? Problems identified. Then I wrote down a path. We were in the discussion meeting for over an hour and a half, okay? Going through the whole process. Here are your problems, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here are the possible solutions, price point, selling a home, buying a home, school zoning, all of that stuff. Then towards, about an hour into the discussion, I said, so you've bought home in the past, you have a lot of people that you know. What prompted you to come to the office on a Saturday and spend an hour and a half with me? Because you have access to a lot of realtors in the market. So they said to me, the previous weekend, they met some of our team members at an open house, and the engagement during the open house was very impactful. Because the key thing they said in a 15-minute interaction at open house was very different from what they'd heard from other realtors who are, guess what? Tour guides. Guess what happens at open house? You walk in, here's a bedroom, here's a bathroom. So the coaching we got from Coach, that we coach our team members, that script and dialogues at an open house was so impactful that on Saturday, they came out to this office to meet with us for over an hour and a half. Towards, an hour over the meeting, I said, so what would prevent you from working with our team? Because we are experts in problem solving. He said, well, I have a cousin who's also a realtor, and we're not here to commit to working with anyone. We don't want to sign any documents. I said, fair enough. You know what? I came here as a courtesy. I have young kids. I could have been home playing with my boys. I came out of here today because I believe you have problems that nobody else in the market can solve more effectively than our team can. So give me an opportunity to work with you for the next 60 days. And this is a two-way agreement. So this is what we do as realtors. So we have something called buyer representation agreements that protects us and our brokerage, that they won't go out, take all information, work with someone else. And by the end of it, said, yes, that makes sense. They signed the buyer agreement, and from that time of the next 5-6 hours, I went around with them, showed them all the options. And in fact, they went into some homes that seen the past, they did not see the value in it. So guess what I was doing throughout the 6-7 hour interaction? Demonstrating value of not just my expertise, but partnership with other realtors, other brokers, other builder salespeople to say, you know what? You are in the right hands. You'll be taken care of. Guess what I was doing? Solving problems, right? Now, they haven't signed a contract, the purchase contract. It's going to happen next week or 2 weeks. And potentially they'll buy a home in the $700,000-800,000 price range. So with the home sale, we talk about $1 million transaction. But where did that start? From the effective way of demonstrating value at an open house, leading them and convincing them to come to the office, and then, sorry about this, and then coming over here, interacting with us. So what you have to do, no matter who you work with, first determine the problems and reiterate for them and say, is it 1, 2, 3? If I can solve those problems for you most effectively in the shortest period of time, why would you not work with us? And a lot of people throw objections to us as realtors. Well, I'm not in a rush. I want to take 6 months. I said, absolutely yes. In fact, that's exactly what I want to hear. The quicker timeline that you have to solve problems or to buy a home, you're giving me a shorter period of time to solve a problem effectively. Because then I'll be rushing you through the process. So you have to take on the cues. There's no magic script or dialogues that I or Coach Bird is going to tell you today. But more effectively absorb the problems, the more effectively you can return back the answers. Is it the slide?
Now, when you think about these objections that you get in a day, here's if you know that you have a unique ability at solving this problem. When you get objections like, well, I got a cousin that does this, okay, I challenge people. Can't you and I both agree that this is too big a transaction to turn over to somebody who's not a professional? I know you love your cousin. I know a lot of people would use their cousin, but we really specialize in this. So I want to take a second and ask you this question. I want you to tell the person beside you, what do you think your true unique ability is? And what problem do you really solve? Because that's really what you're selling. Does that make sense? I solve the problem of structure, process, confidence, systems, how to get an elevation in your sales career. I do that by taking complicated concepts and making them simple. Okay? I do that by providing structures to people who have missing structures. So when you think about unique ability, your unique skill set, when you come into the day, you got to know this is my skill set. This is the problem I'm solving. As I talk to people, my job is to articulate how I can solve that problem better than anybody else. And they're willing to compensate me for that problem. Okay? Now, because I'm a former coach, I follow a lot of coaches, and a lot of coaches now are making millions and millions and millions of dollars. And you say, well, what problem are they solving? When they win, they produce a lot of revenue for those universities. So it doesn't matter if they pay a coach $32 million if they make $100 million off that coach in sales, in tickets. You understand what I'm saying? So what's the problem they're solving? People do not follow losing teams, they follow winning teams. If this guy or girl can come in and win, they're willing to pay them a lot of money to solve this problem. It's a revenue problem. okay? But winning solves the problem. So when you're thinking about this, tell the person beside you, I think this is my unique ability. I think this is the problem we solve. Because in my opinion, the selling system is initiated by understanding this. Once we know this, we'll then go out into the marketplace, call on people, explain to people, and then I'll show you the system we use to get in front of people. Because once you know what you can solve, you know, then you take it out to the marketplace. So take a second and tell the person beside you what problem you think you solve. What is your unique ability? What do you think yours is? Okay. Okay.
I really take the time to listen to what they're saying as far as what's important to them. And that's how I analyze the situation and myself.
Good. Nice. Okay. What do you think your biggest missing structure is?
Well, right now for me is what you said earlier, I'm finding myself, my weaknesses, letting go of small stuff, take on
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
So our local expertise
Yeah.
helps people save time, money, and helps make the right financial
Right.
decision. So that's where we come in and solve that problem.
Yes.
So many options out there, narrowing it down to one or two good options, and then guiding them to help them make the right choice.
Yeah.
Thereby saving them the time and money and effort that you talked
Absolutely.
about. So
Sure.
that's the problem. There's so many things. The
Right.
solution is having the local
Right.
expertise and the knowledge of the local market, and the result is we save them time, money, and they make the right decision. That's how I
Yeah.
would say that.
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing, though.
So who wants to share the best problem you heard from your neighbor? Anyone? You all guys all share with each other problems that you guys are experts in solving? What did someone hear that was a very effective problem, very difficult problem? Anyone?
I thought through our brands, we've got 3 different brands, so Centex, Pulte, and Del Webb, and I think each brand solves a problem for somebody. So Centex, we provide affordable homes in great submarkets. Pulte, we have great value, great warranty, and we built the best school districts. And then Del Webb is our active adult brand, which is 55 and better, and we're the experts in that amongst any of our competitors. So I think that's our position of strength.
So you're solving problems for different demographics, different markets, and you are specialists in that.
Exactly.
Okay, fair enough. So this was a problem that she shared with you? Or you guys?
Since we do the same job, we kind of talked about what we do. So we don't really sell ourselves, but our salespeople do. So that's kind of what we would, kind of by brand, what we would coach our sales team to talk about.
Would you mind challenging you a little bit?
Sure.
Why do you want to solve the problem when you have the Del Webb product? What's your objective? Why are you trying to solve the problem? I understand you're solving it, but why?
Or to make more money for everybody, right?
Okay, how about for you? Why is Pulte Homes targeting a specific age profile, demographic of buyers through Del Webb product? What's the reason why?
I mean, there's not it's unique in the marketplace.
Okay.
There's not another place that you can, well, there's very few places you can go do a single family living for 55 and up that have the amenities that have, and we're giving kind of the comfort of, or the security, I guess, for the 55 and up brand where they can like make friends. A lot of them whose, husbands or wives have passed away. And it just gives them kind of a community that they wouldn't have otherwise.
Fair enough. So what you're saying is Pulte Homes believes in making a lifestyle for the homeowners that have lived with the kids or wherever they've lived, but they want to live in an environment, life setting where they're around same age, same minded people, where the amenities are designed that they cater to their needs specifically. Some homeowners in that age profile may not want to be around young kids. So our community, which Del Webb communities, specialize in creating a lifestyle that's aligned with expectations. That's what you're saying, right? So whereas first response was, well, I understand, we're all in this business for making money. But if Pulte Home says, well, we have Del Webb community product line to make money, which may be the intent at the bottom line, but how many buyers can you move with that script? Not very many.
Right.
Probably not. But then what you said, and if you improvise what I just suggested to you, then you're saying our belief system of Pulte Homes is to making the lifestyle of certain age profile of people the most comfortable, that's aligned with the expectation. Now, you know what? Wow, the belief system is aligned with my belief system. So if I ever want to buy a home in age-restricted community, I'm going to go there. So problem solving is easy. You know, you can solve problem, but you got to go back and peel the layers. Why are you solving the problem? What the intent is, whether you're a builder, no matter what business you're in. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah? Who else wants to share with us what problem you heard from your neighbor? Anyone? Stephanie, Tosa, you guys have problems? They're part of operations team. They deal with problems every day.
I'm just saying we have the ability to listen, listen to what others' concerns are, and then try to figure out exactly what needs to be done to ensure that that problem is solved. I think that's unique to both of us.
Fantastic. Anyone else want to share? Yes?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, the problem that we face in healthcare is that there's a ton of phenomenal technology that's just not economical for the general everyday office, whether it's a dental office or medical practice. So we take technology that's been developed at the #1 cancer center in the nation, manufactured in a way that every dentist should have this in their office.
So do you specialize in dental care?
Oral health care, which
Oral
predominantly
healthcare.
is in your world, you should know. You're in the dental world, I guess,
My wife
indirectly.
is. Yeah.
So for us, anybody that looks in the mouth, which is predominantly the dental space.
Okay. So are you saying that the technology you've enabled in this business is more preventive, that allows doctors or dentists to see something in patients' mouths, which if you were not to use technology may be overlooked, right? So your company's belief system is you want to be technology driven, that you are applying technology that is more preventive and allows doctors to see that even before it becomes a problem, right? So as a dentist, as a dental clinic, or as a patient, if I can go to a clinic where they have the best equipment to detect the problem in advance, well, guess what that does? That raises the bar of the clinic or of that industry. Is that fair?
Okay.
Great.
So we believe that we should beat cancer, cancer shouldn't beat us, is our first statement that we've developed, and it hits home. So we initially started with just a screening device to help, early stage cancer discovery so we can have longer, better lives, and now we've evolved to other healthcare things. So it's beat cancer and beat the side effects from cancer.
Fantastic.
Okay. Good. Notice when you share your statements, one of the things I believe is that people do business with other people that believe the same things they do. Okay? So we teach people to, when they lead with what they believe first. Here's what we believe. Here's why we believe it. Because of that belief, here's what we do. Okay? Here's how we do it different than everybody else. Here's everybody we're doing it for, and if we could do that for you, what would stop us from moving forward with each other? Okay? That's called an explanation of service. Now, when you think about this concept, I want you to look up here and I want you to think about this. When you come into a day, we all get the same amount of time. Some people are ultra effective with that time and some people is not. One of the #1 things I hear as a coach is that I have a time management problem. How many of y'all said that at some point in your life? Okay? Now, here's the deal. Can't manage time. Can't stop it, can't slow it down, can't speed it up. So what we're really saying when we say we have a time management problem is we have a confusion about what is the highest use of our time in relationship to our goals. Does that make sense? We're confused. Like, what should I do? What should I do between 9 and 11 every day? What should I do between 1 and 3 in the afternoon? What should I do every morning? How should I come into the day with the rhythm? We basically have a confusion of priorities. So, but we've cleared that confusion up because we said the #1 priority of any business is to do what? Create a customer. Generate money. We generate money by solving problems. So, I want to clear up this confusion. Any business in here, I don't care what you do for a living, there should be dedicated time every day to doing one thing, generating new business. Now, my rule is simple. At 8:30 in the morning, we're going to train. Because I believe training is not something you did, it's something you do. So every morning, we're going to do some coaching for 15 minutes on a concept, on a theme, on how to overcome an objection. We're going to train every day. At 9 o'clock, from 9 to 11, we're going to prospect for new money. Okay? And here's the rule. You cannot deal with anything that occurred in the past during your prospecting time. Okay? Something that occurred in the past already happened. We're talking about generating new income for you. So from 9 to 11, we're going to work our selling system. Okay? We're going to tie our selling system to a high value of our time. So a high value of your time is money generating activity. It is tied to your best customer getting strategies. Okay? So I'm really forcing you to go, what's my best way to get customers? And how do I align my time by doing that? Some of you are great one-to-one. You need to be meeting with people one-to-one. Some of you are great on the phone. You need to be on the phone. Some of you are great in groups. I prefer groups over one-to-one. So my best strategy is to get in front of people and share a message. You understand what I'm saying? So I very seldom turn anything down to go anywhere to get in front of a group of people because that's my number one strategy. Okay? Now, if I'm looking at my secondary strategy, so when you think about strategies, as I come into the day, what I want to notice is I want to notice the difference between a high value of my time and a low value of my time. So if a high value of my time is money generating activity, what's a low value of my time? Anything that does not produce money, which could be what? Goofing off, conversations, gossiping, spending time doing this, taking long lunches, not talking to people. These are low values of your time. Okay, so let me ask this question. Can we all agree that the purpose of any business is to generate customer? Yes or no? Can we agree that a percentage of our time should be spent on generating new business? Yes or no? So let me ask this question. How many people in the room are prospecting for 2 hours a day, every day, and not dealing with anything that occurred in the past? Okay, so we got 2 out of 40.
Do you mind asking them a question? How long have you been doing that, John? How many months, how many years?
Long time. I'm a little bit more focused now with my new direction.
Right.
But yeah, I could spend 3-4 hours a day trying to generate new money.
How about you, Julie? How long have you been doing this 2 hours of prospecting time every day?
Probably at least 3 months.
That's 3 months.
Good.
And prior to those 3 months, what were you doing before that?
Well, I was in a different position, so I was administrating,
Yeah.
and so now I'm marketing. So
Okay.
it's a lot different. But we got about 70 leads last
Good.
month just from
That's great.
being intentional about prospecting.
And those 2 hours when you're prospecting, what's your strategy? Is it phone, interaction? What do you do?
A mix of everything. So a lot of times it's phone, text messages, face-to-face appointments, events, things like that.
Good.
Just being effective.
Yes.
So here's the deal. Most people are not prospecting 2 hours a day. Okay, now we're out of alignment. Like you told me, the purpose of the business is to do what? Generate a new customer, right? Well, we need to spend time every day doing what? Generating new customers. Now, I can text message, I can phone call, I can email, I can video, I can do anything to generate a new customer, okay? Today I was working my pipeline, or what's called my farm club, of people who have indicated interest in my services, and I was going back to them with challenging emails. When I say challenging, I mean just making them think, okay? So when I'm pushing a person, I create a little bit of healthy tension between me and that person, and I may say we can have this conversation today or we can have it 6 months from now, but you and I both know nothing's going to change until we change it, right? I believe we lose 10% of momentum every day we don't take action, okay? I believe you came to me for a reason. Let me give it to you another way. Let me show you what we're doing with other people. So when we come into a day, let me show you what this looks like. When you come into the day, these are categories of what would be called a selling system. Okay, so when you come into the day, we've got a blank slate. We got every how many hours? We got 8 hours, we got 10 hours, every how many hours you work. The question is, how do you work a system? So about 11 years ago, I created this system called the Legacy Selling System. Okay, it is a relationship-driven sales system. I do use social media, database, video, but I consider those many times secondary strategies to my primary strategy. So when I come into any day, I have what's called a hit list. Okay, now I have a planner that I created called Monster Producer Planner. It's just a simple planner that is tied to our selling system. Okay, when I open that up, it helps me map out my day. So, for example, when I come into the day, I would have all of these people predetermined. So see where it says hit list? These are people that I'm calling on for new money. They are anybody that I believe I can help with my services. Everybody see that? Every day I have 3 to 5 people on my hit list every single day. Okay? Now let's go back to something I said earlier. I can fish for bluegill, or I can fish for what? Blue marlin. So in the old days, my hit list would be 1 RE/MAX agent. In the new days, it's how do I get all the RE/MAX agents? Everybody see that? So I spend my time trying to get on stages like R4, which would put me in front of 4,000 or 5,000 real estate agents. Or how do I do regional events where there's hundreds of people at each one? So I used to go after one person at a time. Now I go after decision makers who could put me in front of big groups, because I know what the percentages are. For every 30 people I get in front of, only 4.8 are going to be interested. That makes sense? So when I come into my day, I'm working on big deals on my hit list. Okay? So substitute the word hit for help. Who can I help with my services? Who can I help with my services? Could I call on a current client and ask them if it's going good to ask them for a referral as part of my hit list? Yes or no? Yes, because it generates new money. Could I call a past client? Yes. Could I call a strategic partner and prime the pump for them to refer me? Yes. Could I call my leads? We talk about those 70 leads. Those leads in my system would go straight to the hit list. They're not in the farm club yet because we haven't qualified them. Okay, and I go out into the marketplace. I attract a lot of people. Sometimes we may get 300 to 400 leads in a week. Okay, some of those people are crazy. Okay, like cray-cray, like, right? Because I'm on social media, and you usually see some of the messages I get from people around the country. Okay, they are way out there. So I have to qualify a person before I say I want to work with that person. Okay, so how do we qualify them? They come in, they go to a lead tracker. Now this is real simple. Where do you store all of your leads? Some of you are using CRM systems or have bought CRM systems only not to use them. Complain about how, okay? I use a very simple system. I use Google Sheets. So when a lead comes into my office, or somebody buys one of my books online, or somebody on Facebook follows me a lot and makes comments, they go to a lead tracker, and that lead tracker has names, emails, phone numbers, who contacted them, that I can pull up at any time on my phone. And it's a real simple system. It's free. I like it because I'm not a person that logs a bunch of notes into a CRM. I'm moving a lot. I'm traveling. I'm on planes. I like looking at my phone and going, okay, here's the 10 people from Sugar Land that are interested. Then I have my sales team say, highlight the green ones that you think are the ones who are really interested, and I'll personally call them. That makes sense? But every person that buys one of my books online gets a phone call. Every person that purchases something from me gets a phone call. We work, any person that indicates interest in me or my services, in my opinion, that's a hit list person. That's a lead. Now, here's what a lot of people do. They make assumptions. Oh, that person couldn't afford anything. That person couldn't do this. Oh, that'll never work. That's a big mistake. Because every time I've assumed on a lead, it was a huge mistake. Right? So, I come into the day with a hit list. Hit lists are people we can help. Now, what's the opposite? What's my opposite alternative? I go to the office and I do what? I wait. I wait. I wait on people to call. Now, where's my title people? You're in the title business, okay? Now, listen, every person that buys a home is going to have a title, okay? How many homes are sold every year in this area, in Sugar Land, in Houston, right? How many people are selling those homes? How do I go out and generate business? How do I call on people? How do I have strategic alliances and strategic partnerships? How do every day I'm working a selling system? Now, what I'm saying, which is what's different than a lot of title people, is they go out and do events, and that's good to get in front of people, but they don't specifically work relationships like they should. Does that make sense? I'm talking about call on people specifically, find out what their problems are, increase value versus what other people are doing. Okay? See what I'm saying? They don't have a selling system. They just spend a lot of money trying to promote and market and support events. If I owned a title company for 2 hours a day, somebody in my office would be calling on people. Real estate agents, mortgage originators, insurance agents, anybody who could feed us leads for 2 hours a day, they'd be calling. Did everybody see that?
Coach, let me ask Nicole something.
Yes.
So I'm sure you and your company work on prospecting clients, correct? So if you were to answer for us, which category, what kind of people are in your hit list? What would you say? Who is in your hit list? I don't need names, but bucket.
I try to personally go for people who pull in around $4 million a year.
Mm-hmm. You said people, you're talking about realtors.
Realtors, yes.
Okay, so
but also lenders.
Yep.
So your bucket
banks.
is lenders,
Yes.
realtors, continue.
Banks, builders, and investors. Those
Okay.
are our top
That's good.
categories.
Okay, so this past month or last month, which category did you target the most?
Interestingly enough, it's been lenders the last couple of weeks. And I know refis aren't high, but I don't know if I put it out there or what have you, but I've reached out to some lenders just to partner because they'll help co-sponsor events. And when I get my leads from those events, I'm on the phone the next day because they're already warm and that's an easy phone call. But yeah, I've scored a lot of business from lenders in the last couple of weeks.
Okay, so the bucket you talked about, lenders, realtors, builders, these buckets of categorized targets for potential business, this is not rocket science.
Right.
If I bring in any title company person over here, those buckets would be the same. Would you agree with me?
Yes. I would
More or
think
less.
so. Yeah.
They'll all say realtors, builders, title companies. I have never heard a title company person say that my target is homeowners. What I mean by that is, if you were a title rep, right, everyone needs to buy a home, sell a home. If you farm a market, you know what? Normally you get home evaluations from your realtor who says value of your home. But what I'll do is my title company will run you a cost sheet or worksheet that actually shows what the actual cost of selling a home is, because you can know what your home is worth. What I can tell you what the cost of selling the home is will truly paint the right picture of the financial obligation you have to buy or sell a home. Can I be a valued partner for you?
Yeah,
right?
and it's great that you bring that up because I do have those conversations, but on my personal time.
Mm.
So if I'm at, with family and friends, and I don't really cross that over into my work week. So
Right.
I like that.
So let's just say you go to your management team, your title company, marketing department, and say, you know what? Here's my idea. Here's what I want to do. Here's I want to target to farm them. And they say, it's not going to work. No. What's the next thing you'll do? You'll probably take a step back. Oh, they kibosh my
If
plan.
my management, I would just continue to do it.
Okay, that's a great attitude.
Yeah.
So what I want to highlight over here is most of the realtors, builder salespeople, they depend on their management, or we depend on RE/MAX to lay the carpet for us. Put us in this conference, get us in front of a speaker, builder salespeople, do marketing for them. And they get limited that if they don't approve a budget or an expense, what can I do? Of course you can do stuff.
Right.
Like when Coach was sharing early on, we saw him, our team saw him at a conference in Dallas 3-4 months back for a whole RE/MAX statewide conference. And not many realtors prospect him, talk to him, but we saw the value, we saw problems that we had. He effectively told me how he could solve our team's problem, and we engaged with him, not RE/MAX, not anyone else. So when you are targeting a specific profile and creating your pool of hit list or wherever you want to target, be creative. Right? Yeah. Because your list, what you're targeting, is the same. We have other title reps who prospect our realtors in this office the same way that you do. Well, I want your business. I can do this for you. So that pool is always there. That's why when Coach was saying, you got to have multiple strategies, multiple layers. And then once you pick one that you specialize in, then it's hard for people to catch up with you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Completely.
Now, and when it comes to this hit list, let's just take it. I lived in my city for 21 years. Less than 2 real estate agents have ever called on me for my business. Okay, less than 2 mortgage originators. Really, no title people. I'm talking about specifically picked up the phone and called me and said, I would like to earn your business. What do I have to do? See, they don't, so I want you to think of primary strategies and secondary strategies. So these are primary strategies. I come in every day and I'm going after people. That makes sense? I'm targeting people. If I'm John and I'm a master plumber and I got the whole state, I'm actively calling on people every day and said, look, I don't know who you use for your plumbing services. I don't know what kind of loyalty you have to them. But we've been doing this for a considerable amount of time. Here's a success we've had. Okay, I don't know what kind of relationship you have, but we'd love to earn your business. No plumbers have ever called on me in my market either. Now you say, well, why would they? Well, I buy millions of dollars of real estate. Short-term, long-term, commercial. I need plumbers, I need real estate agents, I need mortgage originators, I need title people. But none of them have ever called on me. So most people come into the day, they don't have a hit list. You understand what I'm saying? They should be calling on people every day. This is old-fashioned, pick up the phone, call out, make phone calls, talk to people, okay? And you say, well, first excuse, you say, well, they don't answer the phone. Don't matter. Okay? My daughter's got a new phone. She's 5 years old. We bought her a little gizmo phone so she can call 4 people. She can call me. She can call my wife. She can call my mom. She can call both grandmothers, basically. Okay? That's her calling right there. Now, let me tell you something. My daughter, as soon as she wakes up, she calls me. Here's the funny thing. 5 years old, she leaves a voicemail. She didn't get me, okay? And she'll sit there and just call, and then she'll call back, and then she'll call again, and then she'll call again, and then she'll call again. She may call my mom 6 times in a day, which is her grandmother. Does that make sense? There's a little gizmo. She just wants to talk on it all the time. But that's good, because I want to get her in the habit of making outbound phone calls. You understand what I'm saying? Start her early, man. Yes.
Calling on your hit list.
Yes.
What phone message,
Great.
assuming most of the time
Sure.
you're getting voicemail.
Yep.
What are you leaving to pique their interest to get a call back?
Coach, before you answer that,
Yeah.
let's ask you. So when you leave message, what are you currently saying? What do you say right now? First, do you leave messages?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, what do you leave? What do you say?
I state the purpose of my call,
Just say it. It's a call right now.
Yeah.
You just got my voicemail. Go ahead.
Well, I guess it depends what
You guess?
list I'm calling on.
She calling on, I came to your open house. I came to your open house.
Usually I keep it vague.
Keep it vague.
And-
Make the call. You just called me. I came to your open house.
Hi, Paul. It's Caroline calling. I just wanted to try to reach out to you and see if we could meet at some point in the future. I guess I'm not the best at leaving messages, but usually I'll follow up with an email and try to get their.
Well, that's secondary, but you know what you said in your script dialogue as a phone message. I didn't even hear what you did for a living. You went on and on and on, but I met you this past Sunday at the open house. You came to this address, and what you said was your interest was in A, B, or C, right? There's nothing. So, Coach, you want to coach her on that?
Yeah, what I say is this. When I call a person, it's very specific. Here's what you should never say. Do you have any questions? Just checking in, just following up. Never say that. Be very specific. Okay? Hey, this is Michael. I saw you at the open house this weekend. I work for Remax Fine Properties. Okay? You told me you had two problems. You didn't like your master bedroom, and you didn't like how big your yard was. Okay? I believe we can solve that problem. Okay? Call me back by 3 o'clock this afternoon. Here's what I say. I believe people do business with other people, believe the same things I do. So when I call people back, I say, I'm a real estate agent. That's what you are, a real estate agent. I say, I believe people deserve the right to have a professional represent them when they buy, sell, build, or finance real estate. Now, I saw you on Sunday at an open house, and you indicated to me you had two issues. I took that information. I went and found 3 houses that solved that problem for you. Remember, purpose of the follow-up is to do what? Solve the problem. Everybody see that? Purpose of the follow-up is to...
I'm fixing this, Coach. I apologize.
There you go. Purpose of the follow-up is to what? Remind them of the problem. And remind them that you have a solution to that problem. Okay?
Carlton, do you mind sharing with us what message do you leave when you get someone's voicemail after you've been coached?
Get better, but yeah. But
What do you say?
Somebody after an open house, like a similar situation.
So I say, my name is Mike Todd, and I work with the Seth Brothers team at Remax. I just met you this past Saturday at an open house. The reason I was looking to speak with you is because you're looking for a 5-bedroom under $300,000. Some great news. Call me back when you get a chance.
That's good. Yeah. Now, when you think about this, here's what I want you to know. The purpose of any business is to create a customer. We create a customer by solving problems, right? All we have to do is articulate how we can solve their problem better than anybody else. Now, they don't know. So take, for example, when you're talking about the problem, when you're saying about Pulte, if Pulte specializes in that area, it's a great area to specialize in because there's going to be a lot of money made off baby boomers and people at that level that are looking for somewhere to live. Like you said, if they're a widow, they're looking for community, they're looking for certain amenities. Okay, we specialize in solving this problem for people. Okay, now when I come into the day, I got a list of people I think I can solve a problem for, but I'm not sure. Okay, let's say you're the sales manager for Pulte. Let's say I call on you and I say, look, I'm Coach Bird. I work with some of the biggest home builders in the country. I have an average return of about 43% in 1 year. If I could get you 43% with your sales team, improvement on top of what you're already doing, would you like to sit down and talk about it?
Rookie start.
Okay, all right, good. So here's the deal. I don't know if he's interested or not until I call him. So he starts where? On my hit list. Now, let's say I call on him and he says, yes, I'd like for you to work with our sales team. Then he moves off but I need to see something before I take action. Okay? I need to talk to a few people, whatever. He then moves off my hit list to my farm club. Everybody see that? He is now in my farm club. Now, here's what the stats tell me. It may take 7 to 15 touches to convert him from being in my farm club to taking action. What's the first problem you see with most people right there? They don't go 7 touches. Now, here's the deal. I saw him. He liked me. I liked him. He could use the services. But if he's not taking action yet, it's because I've done a very poor job of explaining my services and how I could help him. So when I first meet with him, I say, here's what I could do. If I were coaching your sales team, here's what we do. We go to work on your explanation of services, the selling system, the follow-up, and the referrals. We're going to do that in 1 year. Sounds great. Now, after I leave that meeting, that's my first touch. I then follow that meeting up with a summary. Hey, you and I met. We had a great meeting. We had great chemistry. There's 3 things I said I could do. right? I believe we will lose 10% of momentum every day we don't take action. Are you ready to go? Have you seen enough to make a decision? Touch number 2. Well, I got to talk it over with a committee, got to talk to this group of people. I understand. Third may be a video. Hey, I'm coming back to Sugar Land, Texas next month. Would you like to bring the whole team? Okay, third video. Fourth message may be, hey, let me show you some examples of other people I've worked with and some of the testimonials I've had from working with those people. See what I'm doing? Now that if he's on my farm club, I'm going to go 7 times. How many people are not going 7 times right now? You're not going 7 touches in the follow-up. Okay?
You mentioned 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a series of linear and nonlinear touches. Linear is I go hard at him. Have you seen enough to make a decision? We're wasting time here. Nonlinear is an example. Here's 3 strategies I would use with your sales team. That's a softer touch, okay? So notice I'm using email, video. I may text him. Hey, I'm coming back to Sugar Land, Texas on this date. Would you like to bring the whole team and the key decision maker? What I'm never going to do is let it fatigue. I'm never going to let deal fatigue sit in. I'm going to keep him moving in a forward posture. Now, the touches are, you understand the difference between linear and nonlinear?
I understand.
Okay? Now, when I get to number 7, I'm going to go, has any other coach worked this hard to earn your business? Okay? What I'd like to do is get on your phone with 5 of my best clients in Texas, let you talk to them, okay, and see if you're ready to move, because I can't help you until you commit. Once you commit, I'm not going to let you fail. Right? Now, when I get to number 7, I'm going to have that conversation. And I'm going to say, it seems like you want to do this, but you're stuck on one thing. Are you stuck on what? Price? You're stuck on this. Now, if he's got a price objection, I'm going to sell him on the results. You're investing this, but you're going to make this. Does that look like a good investment to you? Of course it does, okay? So why wouldn't you take action? Understand that you understand what I'm saying? So once you're in my farm club, we're going 7 touches. So here's the deal. When you come into the day, your little planner, I got a hit list, people we can help, we got a farm club. Okay? So when I see you're on that farm club, I'm going to work on that. And I'm keeping, right? Today I was text messaging people that were in the farm club. And I was sending them, so I crafted a nice little text message that makes them think. Jab, jab, hook. Everybody see that? I just jab. I jab and I hook. Now, some of them it takes 10 touches. Okay? Now, if I come in with those 2 strategies as part of my selling system, when do I work that, by the way? Between 9 to 11.
Every day.
Here's the deal. Prospect in the morning, solve the world's problems in the afternoon. Prospect in the morning, solve the world's problem. Why do I prospect in the morning? Here's a question I get. I think people are more open, more friendly in the morning. You're going to say, well, they're not. It doesn't matter if you get in touch with them or not. Okay? Listen, I think people get grouchier as the day goes on. So my point is, I get in there and we work it in the morning. That don't mean we don't call people in the afternoon too. We just prospect in the morning, we solve the world's problems in the afternoon. Now, I'll give you one more strategy, and then I'll let Kunal talk about this, because basically some of you that rely on websites, I see those as secondary strategies. So when you see this, there you go. These are secondary strategies in my opinion. You see the difference between a primary and a secondary? A primary is I do these every day. I may write one email blast a week to my database, and I hit that database link. It's got about 10,000 people in there. I don't hit it every day. I hit it once a week. Does that make sense? Now, so it's a secondary strategy. I use social media as a secondary strategy, not a primary strategy. Okay? Now, it is a strategy, but it ain't my number 1 strategy. Okay? I use my person of interest strategy, which is write books, do podcasts, do blogs, and then I do strategic partners. These are secondary strategies. I could even put strategic partner under primary. Okay? But when I go back and I look at my day, my primary strategies are I'm calling on new money, I'm working people in the pipeline. Okay, now notice that deal with the top 25. This is where I think you can make a lot of money. You cultivate 25 very strong relationships. You may not start with 25, you may start with 3. Okay, so let's say these 2 guys started on my hit list. They went into the farm club. They became a new customer. They got results. Because of the results they got, they then move to a deeper level of advocacy with me. Everybody see that? They could ultimately end up in what's called my top 25, which are 25 deep and meaningful relationships that are typically bringing 3 to 6 referrals per year to the equation. Everybody see that? So you could take all your past clients, all your relationships, and if you will cultivate 25 people that know you, love you, trust you, believe in you, and you work those 25, they will multiply your business. Okay? And I call that the top 25. So, should a percentage of my morning be loving on those 25? Yes or no? Okay? So let's go back to Pulte. Let's say you got one person that brought you 7 referrals. Should they get the same thing as a person that brought you 1 referral? Should they get the same thing as a person who brought you no referrals? No. The people who bring you the most business, you should spend the most time with. And you should love on them the most. And you should have higher frequency with them the most, because they'll multiply your business. Okay? So I have various levels of my coaching program. I have a basic level, it's $4.99 a month. Then I have a $2,083 level, called the 25K level. Then I have a $40,000 level and a $60,000 level. When you get up to the $40,000 and $60,000 level, you get to get on my airplane with me, okay, and fly with me places, and you get to go to cool things like we fly to Chicago for dinner, okay, and have dinner with other people playing at that level. And then you see what I'm saying? The higher you get, the more stuff you get. You follow where I'm going with this? Now, I want you to think every person in this room has different levels, right? You got a basic level. Like in mortgage business, you got one person that feeds you a ton of business. They should have high touch, high frequency, lots of love, lots of communication. Every day you should be talking to these people. Well, imagine having 25 of those sending you 3 referrals a year. That's 75 new deals a year out of 25 great people. Everybody see that? So when I come in, my top 25 is lined up, and I'm like, okay, this. I'm touching these 3 people today in my top 25. I'm loving on them. So when I go on trips, I'll invite those people to go with me. I'll say, would you like to do this? We do private retreats for those people. So we do private retreats for my higher level people. We do special things for those people. Why? Because I want them priming that pump, bringing me more people. Everybody see that? Okay? What's your questions about this so far? Because we got just a few minutes left. How many people are coming into the day with intentionality like this? Yes?
So I have another question. So if you're calling on someone brand new, because you were referring to solid home versus someone you've met or talked to before, and being specific, what is that initial contact conversation going to be for someone that, say, you want to build a relationship with a plumber for referrals, for instance? Can you talk about that?
If I was calling John out of the blue? Hey, John, this is Coach Burt. I just moved to Sugar Land, Texas. I love it. I'm out there talking to lots of real estate agents and home builders and successful people, and they tell me that you're the top plumber in the whole area. You're a master plumber. Okay? So could you call me back this afternoon? I got a lot of business to send to you, and I'm interested in helping you grow your business as well. Make sense?
You see how that was reverse? It was basically saying how I can add value to you and your business. Once we do that, then guess what happens? Well, he or she went out of the way to promote me and my brand, my business. What can I do to help them? As a case in point, as an example, our team does a lot of training in the market. We have a training program called How to Decode and Win Cultural Buyers. And our team has trained that to thousands of salespeople, not just in Houston, nationwide. And when we prospect, but we actually done for Pulte Homes as well. When we prospect builders and we say, you know what, here's how we can add value to your organization, it's not with an expectation to get listings or to get business, but you know what, let me provide value to you, to your organization, no matter what you do. When time is right, it'll come around. So what people miss the piece is they create loyalty. They miss creating brand loyalty. What I mean by brand loyalty is, I don't care what price point you're in, what stage in life you are, but I want to be a follower of the Pulte brand as an example. If you want to buy a starter home, lower price point, we got you. You want to buy a more expensive home, we got you. You got your parents to buy a home, we got you over there, because I'm creating a brand loyalty for Pulte Homes. No matter what business you're in, it's the concept when you get engaged on a personal level to say, you know what, I'm here to help you be more successful. When time is right, would you not want to help the same person back out again? Of course you would want to. So all the concept of top 25, new customer, new list, hit list, the fundamental is this. If you're just prospecting with a dollar sign on your face to make money, they can see it. They can see it clearly. But when you say, you know what, I'm here to solve a problem, you do not even know that your problem, that your salespeople are not trained enough to work with cultural buyers. Let me come and help you with that. Wow, we went and helped. They got trained, they got results, they made more sales. Now, if I go and prospect same bill or another bill another time, they say, well, thank you, what you did a few years back. We travel all the time. Last Monday, we were in San Marcos, went to train MHI Homes. We did a training after 2 years. There were people in the training room in San Marcos were trained 2 years back, and they were sitting edge of the chair, learning what we trained them. And we pulled up an email from a salesperson who sent about 2.5 years back, success story he had. There was a validation right in that room. Why did that happen? You know, we went in with the value proposition strategy. Does that kind of make sense?
Good. That's good. All right, so let's wrap. You got a question? What's your question?
So, my question was more on when you're determining the top 25 list, you're adding value to their organization or to their purpose and to their company. At what point do you see that it's not working out?
Okay, great question. So let's say you're in my top 25, but you're not sending me any referrals. Okay, you're not sending me any business. At any time, I can kick you out of the top 25. It's my top 25. Okay, now here's the deal. There's a lot of value in being in my top 25. Because guess what I'm going to do if you're in my top 25? I'm going to introduce you to all those other 24 people. What's going to happen? Exchange of what? Energy, ideas, business. You understand what I'm saying here? Now, if that's not reciprocated, 7.5 billion people on planet Earth, I'm going to go find somebody else to put in there. I like to joke with this. Every day I lose a Facebook friend. I got 5,000 friends. Every day I look on there, there's $49.99. Somebody dropped off. Why? Pushed too hard, put too much motivational stuff, whatever. I don't care. I'm glad they dropped off. Because it's easy to focus on that one person that dropped off. But then I go over here and I've got about 250 people trying to be my friend. And I just go to the next one and click confirm. And it goes right back up to 5,000. Does that make sense? I'd actually rather know faster, if you're not on board with me, just go ahead and get out. Because there's a big world out there and I'm only looking for people that are looking for me. You follow what I'm saying? So I have kicked people out of my top 25, and here's what I say. You and I are strategic partners, but this is a one-sided relationship. I'm supporting you, pushing you business, helping you, but you're not helping me. Does that make sense? And the way this works is I want to help you be successful. And here's what I say. I believe in a vested partnership, not a one-sided relationship. Everybody, I'm vested partners with all of my people. My doctor sends me business. My doctor's in Houston, Texas. Hotze. Dr. Hotze is my personal physician. He only takes on like 20 people a year. Okay? But you know what I expect from him being my doctor? He sends me business. He introduces me to people. You follow what I'm saying? My attorney sends me business. My mortgage person sends me business. My title person sends me business. My automotive person sends me business. We're not going to be partners unless this is working both ways. Does that make sense?
And do you know why they send the business? Not because they like him. Because first you have to ask for it. A lot of people have the holdback. We have a consideration. Oh no, I can ask my doctor. I can ask my CPA. Right. Why not? Guess what? What's the worst they can say? I'm sorry, I already have a partnership with another coach, another realtor. No business for you. You're not going to be worse off.
Yeah.
It starts off with you asking without consideration. And guess what? When you have 50 conversations or 100 conversations, some of them are going to convert.
Right.
You had a question?
Yeah.
You kind of answered it just then. I would think before you put somebody in your top 25, you would ask that question.
Exactly.
Do you have a real, if you're going to sell your house, do you have an agent you're going to use? And if they say yes, then they're not in your top 25.
Well, I just think, if you ask me today, where can I make the most money in this selling system? Okay? Where can I generate the most money? It's going to be in the top 25. 25 people that love you, sending you business, referring you, actively fighting for you in the market. You'll watch something grow if you just get 25. The problem is most people don't have 25. They've got 2 or 3 or 4, and it's just not enough volume. You follow what I'm saying? What I have found by coaching 600 people, the numbers tell me this. Out of 600 people, there's really only about 110 of those people that are diehard people. Doesn't mean that the other 500 people are not on board, but 110 of those are crazy on board. Does that make sense? What are those 110 going to do? Go fight. Go tell other people. Send referrals. Now, if you think about all the customers you service, all the clients you service, which ones did you love working with? Which ones have the highest referral capacity? Which ones do you want to get in right there and fight with? That would be your top 25. Okay? But if I'm in your top 25, I would just ask you this question: what do I get? Like if you study economics, it's a study of behavior, really. Now, you may say, what would incentivize me to refer you to other people? Sometimes it's just recognition. It's not money. Why buy with money what you could buy with emotional satisfaction? Okay? Sometimes people just want to be recognized. Like, hey, you're my top person. I create these levels. My clients create these levels. I don't even create them. And I got a guy at the top of my levels, and about every 3 months, he's like, I'd like to have a higher level. In essence, what he's saying is, I'd like to pay you more money than I'm currently paying you. And he keeps coming up with these higher levels because he wants to be the only person in that level. Does that make sense? And I'm always wondering, like, why does he do this? And what I figured out is, for most of his life, he was overlooked. Nobody paid any attention to him. He was out there in the world being successful, but nobody really ever paid any attention to it. In my structure, he is somebody. He gets attention. People look to him as an expert, and that feeds him. Does that make sense? So that positions him in a way. He gets paid, not through money, he gets paid through the psychological satisfaction of being somebody in the world that other people look to as an expert, when most of his life people didn't look to him that way, even though he was. Does that make sense? Now, my point to you is, when you're working the system, and we'll close out on this, some of you, I can sense your biggest challenge is you don't know how to ask without consideration. A consideration is a hesitation that you have based on some internal insecurity that you have. Like, what will I say? What if they don't like it? What if they don't do this? Will they answer? Will they call me back? What if they reject me? These are all considerations. What I try to do in my people I coach is remove that consideration, which means I will pick up the phone and call anybody, anywhere, anytime. Okay? Now, I didn't used to be like this. Take RE/MAX, for example. I used to say this, well, let me call the local RE/MAX person, see if they can leverage a little of their influence to get me on a regional stage, and maybe if I do a good job for the regional people, they'll introduce me to the national people. Today, I'll just pick up the phone and call the number one person at RE/MAX and say, hey, what do I need to do to speak at R4? Who do I need to have on board with me? You understand what I'm saying? All they can say is, no, right? So somewhere along the way, I lost the consideration of worrying about what people will think, what people will say, whether they reject me or not reject me, like it, don't like it, I just lost it. So how does that help me in the selling system? Huge. I don't care if you like it or not. I'm still going to call you. I'm still going to push. And all you can say is, no, I'm not interested. It's if some of you would just remove that one thing, you'd be in great shape. Here's a hesitation a lot of builders have. Well, if I call on my current clients, they'll just complain. Yes. Gives them an opportunity to complain about something they don't like. So here's what we do. We just don't call on them. Now, let me ask you this question. If every real estate transaction should be worth 5.7 referrals, how are we going to get to 5.7 referrals if we never talk to them? Is it true that some people are going to complain? Yes. If you call on them more, is it going to? Yes. But look at the other side of that. The other side of that is this. If I'm your person in Rodan and Fields, you don't just want to get me, you want to get all my friends. So should you have a relationship with me? Yes. You shouldn't just get me on automatic renewal and never call me. You should be calling me and checking in. Hey, how's it going? How do we help? Who else can we help? See, where there's no engagement, there's no transformation. Where there's no transformation, there's nothing to talk about. Everybody see that? So what we try to give you today is a little bit of a system of how you attack a day. How you attack a day. Okay? And how do you come into the day with a plan and a system and a strategy, so you don't just come into the day with random confusion about attacking a day, okay? Does anybody have any questions about what we covered today?
So what's the first thing you're going to do today, not tomorrow? Make your list. Start with one person. Add another one tomorrow. But unless you have a list to prospect, to farm, or your hit list, guess what you're doing? You're chasing problems that are internal problems, that solve internal problems, right? What that means is, when you get to work, you have emails, text messages from your current clients, or clients that you're prospecting, when all you're doing is problem solving, but you're not prospecting new business. First half the day, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, how many hours you block out is for new business. But who are you gonna call today or tomorrow? Unless you spend the time to make that list. So our project for you today is, go back home, wherever you go back to work, make the damn list. Yeah. No one's gonna make it for you. You've got to make it yourself. And over time, you'll become an expert in determining who stays in the list of top 25, who gets out. Because if you spend too much time, money, resources on someone who you thought was in top 25, but actually is never going to send you business, guess what you did? Wasted time, money, and effort. Once you've done it many, many times, you know right away, you know what? I don't even want to waste a one phone call a one meal with this person or a coffee with this person, because he or she is not going to give you any business no matter what. So what? Guess what? Boom, out of the 25. So the more that you do over here, the refined list that you'll have, a top 25, is going to be the one that's going to get you the most business in your selling system.
That's good. Now, if you're here today, here's what I tell you. We come back and do this coaching program every month, okay? So we do it here in Sugar Land. I do it over in Houston tomorrow night at Hotel Sorella. We typically, there's about 600 people who are in this coaching program. If you come today and you think, you know what, this can help me. This can help me grow my business. Here's what I tell people. My goal is to get you 5 to 15 more deals in a year, minimum. So you calculate how much money that's worth to you. Okay? Typically, for most of you that are in this, 1 or 2 deals pays for an entire year of coaching. Okay? So the coaching program is set up to be at $4.99 a month for 1 year. That's $59.98 for the year. If you don't make all that money back by doing what we teach you to do, I will give all your money back. But here's the deal. You got to actually go do what we're teaching you to do. Okay? You can't not do it and then come back and tell me it don't work. You follow what I'm saying? So if you're here today, we're going to do this every single month. I'm trying to build a little community here in Sugar Land where you're coming in every month, you're getting coached. Coaching is not something you did one time. You don't need to go to an event and then leave. It needs to be, this is part of a bigger system that we're trying to teach you. How to really grow a business. Does that make sense? How to really build a successful practice, okay? So if you're here today and you're interested in joining the program, these sheets, or if you just want to talk about it, if you need to come back and see it again, okay? But here's what I would tell you. If you're going to do it, why wouldn't you go ahead and do it today? I mean, at the end of the day, I believe we lose 10% of momentum every day we don't take action, okay? And I think there's enough people in the room who'll tell you what it's meaning for their business. These guys over here already told you, okay? They're doing it. The Seth brothers have already told you. All you got to do is come in every single month, and we want to coach you. We want to help you get better. Just focus on those 5 to 15 deals we're going to get you, okay? Because coach people always outperform uncoached people. Would you agree with that? So focus on the kind of results we can get you, and we'd like to see you back every single month. There's a lot more to the program than just this. We got daily updates in our private Facebook group. Okay, I do short sessions throughout the month, 30 minutes on our Facebook group. So you get access to about 12 to 15 things a month as far as the coaching. It's never a lack of coaching that would be the problem. You're going to get more. You're going to get a lot of coaching. Okay, it's just a matter of whether you dive in and do it like you're supposed to do it. Okay, it's simple, but it ain't easy.
Most of the coaching that we've seen in the market, when you talk about FEDI system, ABC system, what you get is a coach who's either on the phone or is not in local area, or he or she may not know what you do. But the fact that coach is based in Tennessee and he's coming to Houston every month to this market, that's a huge, huge plus for our team, because we get to interact with him face-to-face. We throw our problems at him, he gives us solutions. So when you have an opportunity to interact with a national coach in your backyard, you don't have to even go 40 miles from where you live. Why would you not do it? And that's was the thing that we had. So our only request for him was, we're going to engage with the coach, but I need you in my office every month. And he's been doing it for the last 6-7 months. Every month, Coach Bird comes to Houston, comes to our office, engage with the team, and solves problems and gives us strategies. I can give you tons of examples of contracts and transactions that a team has written just by using simple dialogues, simple scripts, or simple strategies which we thought was so easy to apply, but never had the mindset or commitment doing it. And when he's around, in person, and over the net or over the phone throughout the month, it's a constant reminder. Go back to the fundamentals, hit list, foundation system, your EOS, which we talked about in the first coaching session, which is explanation of services. What do you do for a living? Just to say, I'm a realtor. Okay, so there's 60,000 of us in Houston. But when you say impactfully what you do for a living, guess what you're doing? You're leaving a memory tattooed in the person's mind, because they say, you know what? If I ever want to buy a home, sell a home, or lease a home, I'm going to call the Seth brother, because their belief system, I don't care what they do, it's why they do. Where'd that come from? The coaching session. So we were successful, we can still be successful, but there's always room for improvement. And someone like who's been coached, like Coach said, who's been coached or trained, will always outperform someone who's not been coached or trained. Does that sound good?
Yep.
All right, thank you guys for coming.
Thank you guys
We'll
for coming.
be here to answer questions for you.
John, thank you for the good Texas barbecue too.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard you say we're going to capture those people's information. Okay, we're going, I've asked him to put it on the little sheets. So I'm gonna get. I'm gonna say this to him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I knew Steve. I mean, that was crazy. He called Matt going, hey, let me forget about the house. Yeah, I know
What can I help you? Help you get clarity on the system?
Yeah, I like doing, I like being around people. So I like to do
That's gonna come in, that's gonna come in. As you get out of this, actually take it